What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Parkour, and we are
the Distorted Theorists. So guys, today, welcome back to episode 4 of Marvel Mondays, where we are going to be diving in and watching the trailer to Thor.
4 for 4. 4 for Thor?
Woo.
Ah.
But before
Maybe
we do, as always, guys, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. We're trying to grow. And make sure you hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss Marvel Mondays as we take us all the way up through the cinematic universe. But today, like I said, we have Thor. When he was probably wearing a wig. I don't know.
No, that was
all legit.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, but it was. This is when we had our one and only blonde Thor through and through.
Yeah.
Blonde eyebrows, blonde beard.
The amount of, like, okay, I just want to dive right in here. We got introduced to a whole whack of characters, which were all big name, little name, in my opinion. I didn't know who, like, I'll be honest, I did not know who Chris Hemsworth was until he got the role of Thor. Maybe it was his first role.
Nope.
Natalie Portman, I did hear of before. Oh, go ahead.
He was in Star Trek.
Okay.
He was in the new Star Trek movie.
There you go.
He was Kirk's father.
Okay, so there you go. So he got that, I didn't. Then there was Natalie Portman, I've heard of her before. Then, of course, there was Idris Elba. Never heard of him before.
Luther.
Yep. And Loki, Tom Hiddleston. Never heard of him before.
Didn't know who he was.
And Anthony Hopkins. Obviously, we all know Anthony Hopkins. I'm a big Hannibal fan. So that was really cool to see this culmination. And correct me, she's not on the cover, but Frida is played by...
Freya.
Freya?
Freya.
His mother is played by?
She's played by. It's interesting that you should ask that question. I'm really going to try and find that out for you at some point.
Come on.
It was
Renee
Russo.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
That's
what's on here. I don't know. It just says
Russo?
with Renee Russo.
Yeah, probably. Let me see. You talk for a while.
Welcome to the Distorted Theorists. This was, I think, one of the only MCU movies that I did not see in theaters. Prior to the movie coming out, I didn't know a lot about Thor. I still don't know a lot about Thor. Thor is a hard comic to read because, for two reasons. He speaks in Old English in the comics. Verily, this is what thou shalt do. And it's hard, and the font that they use in the comics isn't like your normal Comic Sans comic. It's old-timey.
I think we missed it on even our last video in episode 3. Isn't that the end credit scene for Iron Man where they find the hammer in the crater?
Because
I think we forgot that, but Agent Coulson. Yeah, or S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm sure, found it. But yeah, which is kind of a big introduction there as well. And he ultimately became an integral part of the Avengers franchise at that time.
For a short period of time.
But like for me, Thor was relatively an unknown character. I've heard of him in certain aspects. I never heard of Mjolnir before. This was all new to me. So as much as I like to tote that I'm a comic book guy or a big movie buff and all this was a lot of things that I was learning with the journey of Marvel, which I think is why I adapted to it so well, is because you were learning and growing with the franchise, which ultimately was great.
I think the most important thing that came out of Thor, though, wasn't Thor. It was Loki. Oh, Loki is
loved to be hated.
Best villain. To hell with Thanos, to hell with the Vulture, to hell with all this.
Yeah.
Loki is the best villain, anti-hero, whatever. He's just...
But that's also chalked up to very, very, very good acting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. And Tom Hiddleston actually auditioned for Thor.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
I mean, but this guy, like...
There's footage of him with the hammer going, and he's jacked.
I'm glad they didn't do that. I don't know.
He could have done all right.
Maybe he did. But you know what?
Chris Hemsworth does. He has his classic, I got out of the shower, what's up?
Yeah, but you know what though? Speaking of Loki and Tom Hiddleston, you got to think about it. Thor has had 3 movies coming up on his 4th, and well, we don't know about the 4th, but Loki's been in every one of them. But you know what? Chris Hemsworth don't have his own show.
No.
Like Loki did, so that tells you the proof of Tom Hiddleston's acting career right there.
Yes, right? But also Thor has been in, well, I guess, yeah, he's got his own solo movie now without Loki, we think.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But
which we also reviewed on the Distorted Theorists.
Yeah. But what we could do is watch this trailer and get a recap, and then we'll break down what we see and what we missed and what we hate. All right, guys, let's get into this trailer reaction right now.
Damn previews. See? There he is. Oh, I forgot who else they introduced in this. Hawkeye.
Yep, we'll get to that later.
Jane, I think you want to.
And Kat Dennings.
Yes.
We just missed
Is
it.
Frankie or?
You alright?
You dare threaten me, Thor, with so
Yeah.
chewy a weapon?
What? He was freaking me out. Where did he come from?
This might have been his
He
most
said
jacked.
It was Thor?
Another. Shh. There it is.
Crazy homeless person, he's pretty cut.
How'd you get inside that cloud?
Also, how could you eat an entire box of Pop-Tarts and still be this hungry?
This drink, I like it. Another!
This is going on Facebook. Smile.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same.
But who are you, really?
Oh, I forgot about that fight.
You'll see soon enough.
God, I hope you're not crazy.
God, I hope.
Do you swear to guard the lives of the innocent and preserve the peace?
I swear. I will destroy
There
their
he
kind.
is.
You can't
There's
kill
our
an
boy.
entire race and die with them.
And this
The
thing.
Destroyer.
These people.
I am a walking furnace.
I have no plans to die today.
He has plans for you to die today.
Ow.
That was badass.
Alright, he's got his little.
I will return.
Four.
Do not know what your actions would unleash.
Puppy. May.
Yeah. So
May.
so right away there, like they made Thor look very badass. But the one thing that this movie, and I kind of caught it in the trailer, is it brought the magical or whatever you want to call it. Because every other movie before this was fairly human level. Obviously, the Hulk is not extraterrestrial, but
science.
yeah, it's basically based on science. But this brought the mystical element to it, and like I said, it brought the fight to Earth. So Earth really in this movie was introduced to its first extraterrestrial. It's mystical, it's magical threats, and they were big. And we know that by Loki being a huge threat in future movies we will discuss on Marvel Mondays. But like you said, we forgot all about Kat Dennings. We forgot about
What's her name in the show? Like it's,
Marcy.
Is it Marcy?
Marcy?
Frankie? Something E.
E. But who was the other one we forgot?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah. He appears briefly. I
Yeah.
mean, it was our first introduction to Clint Barton. I don't even know if they say his name, to be honest. I think they might say Clint, perhaps.
I think they call him the Bird. Don't
Is
they?
it? Yeah. And he climbs up and he gets ready to shoot.
And
He never
and
gets.
the Lost World.
Yeah, he never gets.
thing.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie. But he never gets the shot off because Thor goes down.
Well, Coulson stops him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just he doesn't need to. He's not gonna get lifted.
But
off the
again,
camera.
at the time, we were like I don't even know if I realized, like, that was a throwaway for me. I don't even know if I remember him.
I knew about that.
Yeah.
Like it's the Bird.
And I didn't know who Jeremy Renner was at that time.
I did.
Yeah, see, there
Born.
you go. But I don't think he was in these movies at this time.
Hurt Locker, he was.
Okay, Hurt Locker maybe. I don't know if I see. Is that Jake Gyllenhaal too?
That's Jarhead.
See, there we go.
Rabbit hole. So the cool thing about this movie is, again, and something that we didn't touch on in any of the other ones because we didn't really need to.
Yeah.
This was the first Marvel movie that I, like, in terms of chronological order, that really made you feel majesty. Whenever they showed Asgard, and they had those big, like, I know they're all CGI, obviously, but when they had those big sweeping shots of going in,
Yeah,
and
you're
they
coming
had
over the water
the
and the
music
buildings.
for Asgard
Yeah.
was just this big, regal, like, and it was the first time sitting, well, in front of a TV for me
Yeah.
because I didn't see it in theaters,
Yeah.
was that it was just like, ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
and they have all the, like, there's so many foot soldiers with all the majestic armor and the spears and the big headpieces.
It was
and-
very Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Like it had that
Yep.
big, like,
Yep.
okay, this is
For sure.
This is bigger than us now.
Yeah.
And
And it made you think, like, okay, so how's Iron Man and the Hulk supposed to deal with all that? You don't know.
Yeah.
But you would know. You would know now, but you didn't know then, which made it a bit lot
You
more.
didn't know that you would know eventually know that we know that they
Right.
know that they know stuff.
Right. You know? Do you know? TikTok. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, like, Thor was badass. Don't get me wrong, but
It's unfortunately
it lost luster in its traction.
It's a bit of
somewhere
a
there.
weak movie. It's still a good movie, but in the grand scheme of other ones that came after it, it's just kind of it's not the worst. MCU
no, I don't
movie.
sit there and watch Thor and like, I gotta sit through this game.
No,
like when I'm catching up or
thoroughly
whatever.
enjoy it.
Yeah, you got to watch it. It fits right in, and it does introduce. And you know, they definitely did Thor dirty in the beginning, but we all know, and as the time this video probably dropped, we're very close to Thor: Love and Thunder right now, and he has gotten so much redemption from Ragnarok, and I can only imagine what that movie's going to bring. So.
But and again, so they showed Loki, and again, that excellent acting of being like, "I'm your brother. We're good friends."
Yeah.
And then I'm a frost giant. What's up? Patow! I was adopted. What's that, pops? Like he just goes nuts. And Anthony Hopkins is Odin. Like I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of acting or a lot of screen time.
Because he's like lit in the bed in most of this one.
Well,
isn't he?
because Loki gets so mad with him. He's just like, my heart, it can't, And he just, the vapors, they have taken me. Gasp.
Yeah.
And then Freya basically has to be like, go help your father.
Yeah.
Shall you?
Yeah.
Yes. Pip, pip, cheerio. Natalie Portman does really well. And we've got Stellan Skarsgård as the professor.
Yes. Yep. Which, again, his sons, I guess, I assume, or relatives, are the...
I think they're sons.
Sons? Yeah, I mean, they got...
Bill and
the son... What's the other one? Because there's the one...
Alexander.
Alexander, yeah. He's
in The Northman, which is a movie coming out very soon that I want to see.
Yeah, and then there's Pennywise and all that stuff. So I
Yes.
mean, it's definitely in the family, and you can see, and he carried on roles for. I mean, all these little characters were so minute, but yet so
movies.
and like and it's still going. Like movies that are coming out now still have. Hey, remember that character from Iron Man 1? Yeah, they're actually right here in this movie 20 years later.
And somehow Stan Lee's character just managed to pop up in every single movie. I don't know. He's just wherever they are.
Right. But I mean, I want to get on to.
He wrecked his truck.
Can we get ready for episode 5, which is can I say it right this time? Captain America: The First Avenger.
Finally, he got it right.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because Marvel Mondays ain't gonna stop here. We got Captain America: The First Avenger coming up next week. I am the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Parkour, and like we always say,
Keep it real.